Hi-ho everyone, my name's Mr. Fruit and welcome back to more story time. That's right, it's time to gather around the fireside yet again. Get some s'mores if s'mores aren't your thing. Then I guess you're out of luck. Here's a timeline for you guys. Just graduated from high school, so it's my senior summer, right before I head off to college. Me and my friends, rather, wanted to do a senior trip. A lot of people do these kind of things, you know. Some of them are like, I'm gonna go backpacking through Naples and find my spirituality or be free and all these kind of things, which, you know, more to them. But my friends and I, well, we didn't have any money, really. And so we wanted to go camping-esque. I've never really gone camping. We're gonna go to a place called Lake Powell, which is a pretty big lake. A lot of people go there to vacation, or they have like lake houses, or they go do other things you do on bodies of water, like jet ski, and I don't know why I can't. There's a lot of things you do on a lake. Anyway, myself, my friends Corey, Hayden, and Matt. So 4 of us. We all decided, actually, I think I have a picture somewhere that actually this was taken right before we were going to head off onto our trip. So anywho, we all hopped in my minivan. And we plan to, so I live in Colorado, and Lake Powell, I think the part of Lake Powell we were going to is called Lone Rock. And I want to say it was in Utah. It could be New Mexico. I don't really know. I just know it was like a 13-hour drive or something like that. So what we did beforehand was we just stocked up on supplies. We were expecting to be camping for about 7 days, so including the day it would take to get there and the day it would take to get back. We were going to be gone like 8-9 days. I don't really know, but it was pretty involved. Well, we'd been planning it for months, but for us it was definitely, you know, spur of the moment thing, like, you know, let's be adventurous. So we gather all of our supplies, and I'm talking with the 4 of us and all of our supplies, like the van is full to the brim. We got food for days. We got the tents, obviously, which my buddy Hayden had. His family had like 2 tents. We had literally everything you would need for the trip, because again, we were assuming we were going to have to live off the land, because the idea was we were going to get to Lone Rock. We were then going to drive and get away pretty far into like a remote place, so it's not just all by, you know, tourists and all that kind of stuff, and we can, again, kind of just be to ourselves, or at least that was the idea. We didn't realize what was in store for us, because if I didn't tell you, this was probably the worst trip I've taken of my life. So spoiler alert, but we'll explain why in a second. So it all began with day 0. And I say 0 because we were only able to drive a few hours that day, and we had to stop kind of a third of the way through the journey. We stayed at a hotel, and then the day after we began to head off again, and we finally arrived. However, day 0, as we're driving, you know, we're all pumped, we're psyched. However, one of my friends, Matt, starts to get an awful headache. Pulsating, it turns into a migrating, and he's just having a horrible time. Dude's over there, like, just straight on the struggle bus, and I feel for him. We're like, Matt, we're like an hour or 2 away from the hotel. You just got to stay with us. And my man was dying. Like, we literally pull up to the hotel, and at this point, he's delirious, like straight up. I don't know what it was. There's maybe some swelling or something, but I mean, this dude, you would have thought he was on drugs or something. Like, he was out of it. I was trying to talk to him, and it was like trying to talk to a 3-year-old. He was slurring his words. He's like, and I remember we got him into the hotel, and he's like telling us some story about like Skittles or something, like straight up delirious. And then he just stopped me, kill me, and then he goes straight back to the story. Like, it was the strangest thing. I've never seen someone with a migraine like that. It was a little worrying, but yeah, whatever. We put him in the hotel. We got him some medicine, and he slept the rest of the night. And to be fair, for the other 3 of us, that was probably the best night of the trip. There's a hotel at the pool. We just kind of roamed around, had dinner, had some fun, went to bed, and then the next day we set off. Matt woke up better after throwing up several times, and we drove to Lake Powell, which was a long drive. I drove majority of it, mainly because I didn't trust the others. One time they were driving the van, and I was napping, and I woke up to find them doing speeds they should not be doing at all. Like, we were probably about to die. And I was like, all right, you guys lose your privileges. I'm not looking to die before we get there or on the way back. So I guess I'm just going to have to drive. So it was a little tiring. But as we approach, there was a city, little town rather, pretty close to where our campsite would be, I guess is the word you would use. So we go there. I think we grab a quick lunch maybe or something. I don't even remember, like Subway or something. It was like the only thing really in the town. And then we head to our campsite. So when you come to the campsite, you go up a big hill. You can see Lone Rock. I mean, it's literally it's a big lake with like a big rock in the middle of it, which is why they call it Lone Rock. It's just one big rock. So anyway, you see that, you start going down the hill, some pavement, but then pretty quickly the pavement ends, and then it's kind of like gravel-ish, but still pretty sandy. You go down, and then there's like a little parking spot up there, but it's probably not exaggerating when I say it's over a mile from the campsite at least. And with all that stuff we had in the van, there was no way we were trekking down a mile and doing like 30 trips. That's probably what we had a lot of stuff. I don't think you understand. So I was like, all right, we need to get closer. Plus, this isn't where we want to camp because there's like a beachfront, but there was just like way more people than we thought. Like RV, 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 truck, RV, truck, RV, like just everybody set up, and it's ridiculous. And so we're like, all right, we got to go that way. And so we can see the beachfront, but then we see like there's like a little, I don't know what you call it. There's a big hill, obviously, but there's like a little path that kind of seems to be there, and it goes around a big hill, and we can't see what's past there. So we're like, okay, well, maybe past that way there's another beachfront, and less people are there, and that's where we're looking. Because again, we didn't want to be by everybody and all that kind of stuff. So we're like, all right, we'll try that way. But we have to start going down from the parking lot, and at this point it's pretty much all sand. We're going down again. We're still probably like a mile from the beach. So once we get about half a mile, then we were able to take that path that would, in theory, take us around this big hill and behind something we can't see, and hopefully to, whatever our destination was. I don't know. It was a poorly thought out plan. So we start going, and like I said, at this point, it's all sand. And I'm driving a minivan, super weighed down, everything in it. So as you can imagine, we're going, we're not going, we're gonna get stuck. And I mean, we made it like 30 yards maybe. And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't put anything into it. And so this is when my friend Matt had the genius idea. And looking back, like it was one of those you had to be there moments. But I'm sitting there, and somebody's yelling like, the hill, go down because I mean, we're like right on the edge of this big sandy hill that goes down to the beach. And somebody's like, just go down the hill. And Matt yells, gravity. And in my moment of panic, I'm like, that sounds good. So I crank the van with the little momentum we have, and we start heading down this giant sandy hill. And so we're going, we're rocking. This is not good. And I'm like, we're like, it's working. And maybe not even a third of the way down the hill, we are stuck. Straight up, we are bogged down in sand. We're just, we're like, uh-oh, this ain't good. So we get out, and I mean, I don't think I took a picture, but the sand was over halfway up our tires. And like, if you were to open, because my minivan has those like the slide doors right in the back, you pull those out, like sand was like already at the bottom of it, kind of like already getting into the van. So we're deep, and we're sitting there, we're trying to like claw at the tires, like get some, but like it's not wet sand, it's not moving, it's not happening. And we're like, guys, we're already stuck. What the fudge do we do? So at this point, we see maybe 15 minutes had passed, and we see this massive 4x4 truck coming up this sandy hill. And we have no idea who it is. And so he comes up and he jumps out and he's like, hey, couldn't help but notice you guys are stuck. And we're like, yeah, a little bit. He's like, well, why don't I got a tow. Why don't we just put it on your van and I can help maybe pull you guys and you guys can just go down the hill behind me. We're like, yeah, dude, that'd be great. We'd really appreciate that. So he goes, tries to clip it. I mean, my van doesn't really have like a tow thing, right? I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But the hook thing you would put it on or whatever, the hitch. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It didn't have a hitch, so we had to find some place in the front. And so most of us are out pushing. I'm doing what I can on the driver's seat, and sure enough, we're trying, and he's stuck. That's right, this giant 4x4 truck just got stuck, thanks to us, and now he's stuck. And so this is awkward, so give it another about 10 minutes. An even bigger 4x4 comes up, and it's this guy's dad. And he's like, hey, so you guys are stuck. So he, boom, pulls out the 4x4, easy peasy, latches onto us. He's like, don't worry, I got you. And this dude goes, and then pops out of the sand. Sure enough, we're coasting. We get down to the bottom. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. It's been about an hour. We're all hot. We're already exhausted. And we finally get down to the beachfront. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. But now at this point, we are just, well, we're exactly where we didn't want to be. Right on the busiest beachfront with all the people. We're like, screw it. We're already here. Let's just find a little piece of sand, a little piece of beach that isn't taken. We'll throw our stuff there. Thankfully, the van's already here. And then, well, so here's the funny thing. This is when I notice, hey guys, by the way, we're on empty. The little gas light had come on, and we're already below E. So I'm like, yeah, we kind of need gas. So we turned it off. We're like, fine, we're setting it up right over there. It's like in between two huge RVs. Wasn't much of anything, but we're like, screw it. We got to do it. So we unload everything, start setting it up. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to go into town, get some gas, and then I'll be back. And my friend Corey joined me. And in the meantime, Hayden and Matt were taking all the stuff. We're going to set up camp while we were gone. And that's all well in theory, right? Except, well, we got to get out of here now. And we barely got down. So the one good thing is towards a little up on the beachfront where we were, there were some rocks and stuff, which made for a little more solid ground that the van was able to traverse on, but not much. Not much at all, in fact. So we start heading off, Corey and I. We're going. I'm not kidding. We make it about 40 feet, and we're stuck. Again. On empty. Just, boom. I'm like, oh my. And we can see them back at our camp. We're waving them down. Hey, yeah, guys, come back. We need help. Like, this isn't working. So they all come back and we finally get the van out of that mess. We go maybe another 100 yards, and boom, we're stuck again. And this time, they're already way back at camp. We can't get our friends' help. So Corey's in the back trying to like solo push this. I need to turn my phone off. God, I'm so unprofessional. Corey's in the back like doing his best to just push this van out while I'm trying to give it gas like, you do a little more. And bless their hearts, I appreciate their help. But that's when these people from the RV closest to us at this point came out and said, hey, you need some help? It was in some foreign accent I couldn't remember for the life of me. But it was this one man, probably inch taller than me, but like it was almost comical. Like, that man had seen too much sun. He was orange from head to toe, and he just wore the tiniest Speedo you possibly could have. Like, it was a string practically. Like, I was like, whoa! Yeah, I guess so. And his wife came along, and I'll never forget that guy. He was hilarious. But anyway, I appreciate their help. So he and his wife got out and are helping Corey in the back. And Corey's talking about how like he was like stuck in between him and this guy's like lathered in suntan lotion and all oily and smelly. And poor Corey's in the back like, ah! So they're pushing it, and we still can't get it out. And they're like, well, we tried. And that's when, I don't think it was like a park ranger, but it was somebody comes up and like a ranger or something. He's like, hey, you guys stuck? I think he said like, yeah, we keep getting reports of this like minivan here on the beach that keeps getting stuck. He's like, yeah, that's us. Yeah. So he's like, all right, well, how about this? Let's try and get you out. And then I can kind of guide you because I know kind of where the harder places are here on the sand. So I can at least get you to there, and then we can try and get you up the hill and go from there so that maybe you don't get stuck as often. I was like, that would be fantastic. Thank you. He's like, yeah, let's try and pull you out here. So again, he gets his tow, tries to find a hitch, which I don't have. And so again, he puts it in the same spot that they had been doing, which was like kind of under the hood in between the two front tires. Puts it on there, and you go, and And we're going, and he finally pulls us out. We're like, all right, this is great. We're kind of coasting, trying to keep our momentum. He's guiding, kind of bobbing and weaving, and we're following, kind of hitting the rocks. We're like, okay, this is decent. This is decent. And I'm like, we just gotta get gas. I was like, please don't give up on me now. Like, please. And we're going. We finally get up the hill. I think we get stuck once going up the hill, because again, it was mainly sand going up. It was only about halfway that it hit some sort of rock/pavement mixture, and then about at the top it hit just full like cement or whatever. So it was rough, but we finally made it. I thanked the ranger. I was like, dude, thank you so much. We get to the top of the hill. I'm not kidding you. We turn to go to the town, and it's hard to describe, but like we're at the top of this hill and it goes down and then it goes up to this town. So I popped that baby in neutral, and I'm like, we're coasting, baby, because I don't think we're making it. So we coast the whole way. Not doing the speed limit, but whatever we can. And I mean, it was practically one of those moves like pulling up into the gas station scenario. And we pull in there and we gas it up, and I'm just like, oh, thank you, Lord, wherever you are, for this. I needed this. So we got the gas. Thank the Lord. So I was like, all right, little scare out of the way. We're good. Now let's head back. So we're going back, and this time I decide to park it at the parking lot that we had originally said is way too far. But I was like, there's no way we're getting this van down there and back up again. That's just not happening. And that's when we get out of the car and the guys show up. And I'm trying to figure out something with the van really quick, and they're all in the front like, it's like, are you gonna tell him? Nobody tell him. Yeah, no. It's like, no, I think we shouldn't tell him. He's had enough. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? What are you guys? What is it? So I come around to the front, and that's when I realized that my entire scuff guard from my van has just been ripped. It's like hanging on by a shred. So that's when I was saying I'm not really supposed to be towed. That's exactly what I said. They kept grabbing the scuff guard, and we're just my van still doesn't have a scuff guard to this day, and I was over it. Like, I'd already volunteered my car for this, nobody else's. It was already filled with sand freaking everywhere. I hate it. It's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere. And on top of that, now it's getting damaged. I'm like, this puppy wasn't meant for this, and she's old. All right, she's about to kick it. We don't need this right now. And I was just like, whatever. We're here. Let's just go camping. This will be fine. How's the camp going? They're like, ooh, yeah, about that. I was like, what do you mean about that? So we go to camp, and we brought 2 tents. 2 for each of us. One was a little bit bigger. And he's like, yeah, so that bigger tent, turns out it's ripped. We tried setting it up, and we just can't do it. And I was like, you get what? So what do we have? He said, well, we have this tent. And to be fair, it was a decent sized tent. It was, if I had to, maybe 8-foot diameter circle piece, and then it kind of had like little triangle offshoots. I don't know. Kind of looked like a little igloo. I don't know. But pretty small. And we're like, yeah, all 4 of us have got to shack up into this. I was like, it's fine. You know what? In the face of adversity, you just got to keep going. That's good. It's fine. This is the start. We're not going to let this get us down, boys. Let's go. Let's go. So we're like, all right, yeah. So we start trying to set everything up. And my friend Matt, being the great guy that he is, you know, he brought an inflatable mattress for his thing. Everyone else brought sleeping bags. But for some reason, Matt brought an inflatable mattress. And not just any inflatable mattress. He brought a king-size inflatable mattress. What? I don't know what he thought was going to happen. So anyway, he immediately lays claim to that entire centerpiece of the tent. He blows up his mattress and says, this is mine. Which leaves the 2 little pockets in the corners. And I'm not kidding. Matt's like, there is no room. The tent is now his mattress, practically. It is his master bedroom, apparently. So Hayden gets one corner, and Corey and I are stuck in another corner. And when I'm telling you about these corners, I am saying like maybe 4 feet deep, 2 feet high, maybe. And Corey and I are having to split this. So essentially what we ended up doing was His head was at the end of the tent, and my head was at the front near the zip entrance of the tent. And then we kind of like just like we're up on the mattress like halfway a little bit. It was awful. But that was when we went to sleep. Let me rewind a little bit. So once we got our place of situation, and I was like, Matt, I hate you. We decided, all right, let's eat dinner. So we brought like a little personal grill. We had tons of sausages, or hot dogs rather, and we tons of food we were gonna cook and do and all this kind of stuff. So like night one, hey, let's do hot dogs. Simple. Let's get them done. And then we'll call it a night and start up early because we wanted to kind of get up with the sunrises because we won't really have a choice. It's going to be so bright and warm. So we start making the hot dogs. I believe Hayden was in control of cooking the hot dogs. So we had 4 hot dogs. We were just going to eat one tonight, save some food and then, do more stuff tomorrow. So yeah, it was just, we had our buns, we had our hot dogs. Hayden's making some. He said, Corey, here you go. Matt, here you go. And then he gets one for himself. He's all right. Last one, he said, all right, Christian, this is yours. And he's holding the bun. He's holding the hot dog. He goes, all right. He drops the hot dog right into the sand. Just right on in there. And I'm like, oh, joy. And nobody's like, oh, dude, I'll switch you. Hayden wasn't like, oh, dude, that's my bad. Take mine. Hayden picks it up and goes, here you go. I'm like, appreciate that, man. We didn't have any other hot dogs to cook right then. So I was like, you know what, it's cool, guys. I'm like dry heaving. And it's just crunch, crunch, crunch. I didn't even finish the hot dog. I was like, guys, I'm going to bed. I'm like, screw this. I'm out of here. So we went to bed. And that night of sleep was probably the worst sleep I've ever gotten. We woke up, Matt. He's like, how'd you guys sleep? I slept like a prince. He's like, that was so. I was like, yeah, I sure hope so. You take up 3/4 of this tent. Hayden was kind of like, yeah, it wasn't so good. And Corey and I are sitting there like bagged, and I was like, that was awful. And it was probably even worse for Corey. So Corey, because his head was at the end of the tent, it was a super windy night, really cold. And the flap on the tent was like just whapping his head the entire night. And I was like, Corey, you could have said it. He's like, no, I was just like, I was over it. And I was like, I felt you too. Because in my scenario, I was next to the opening, the zip opening, except in this tent, kind of like the bottom portion of the opening was broken. Kind of like where it does that like double zip thing where it doesn't zip all the way. Anyway, so there's a little hole. So that wind and that sand were just all night, just blowing on me. And I'm like, this is miserable. I was like, I want to die. So we woke up, barely got any sleep. And we're like, all right, but this is it. Day 1. We got like 6 more days to go. There's tons of stuff to do. Let's get to it. What do we want to start with? So I think we had breakfast. I don't remember, probably cereal or something. I have no idea what we brought. But we ate some breakfast. And then what we were most excited for, let's go cliff diving. Let's go explore some of the rocks, the cliffs, the coast, see what trouble we can get up to, have some fun. So we set out like maybe 8 a.m. and we go, I don't know Cardinal, but if I'm looking at the lake, we just go left. So I'll just assume looking at the lake is north. So we went west. I know my directions. So anyway, we go west. We have to go down all the RVs and all the people because it eventually comes, the coast stops and it kind of becomes rocks and then becomes these big cliffs. And it goes on for quite a while, to be fair. And so we're like, yes, this is going to be sick. So I start climbing on the rocks. And to be fair, this part of the trip was awesome. This was our favorite part. So we're exploring on top of these rocks. We find a pretty high one. Maybe for like 30 minutes, we're jumping off this one, doing some fun stuff. Jumping in the water, having fun. We keep going. We're going down these rocks. It feels like we're going forever. We go down, and then there's like at one point there's like a little cave, and then it keeps going, and then there's like this big cove that it goes into, and it was almost like a secret cove, but somehow there's like a houseboat there, and they were partying. I don't know. It's very confusing. We hop on. We're doing some more cliff diving around these rocks and stuff, and we're like, that was awesome. We're getting a little hungry though, so like, let's go back. Let's eat some food. See what time it is. It's probably pretty late in the afternoon, but it was super fun. So we finally trek back. It takes a while. We get back to our camp like, whoo! All right, what time is it? 10:30 in the morning. We thought we were gone like all day. It was like 2.5 hours. And we're like, okay, now what? So we ate lunch. I don't remember what lunch was again. It wasn't as bad as the hot dogs, I can tell you that much. But we don't remember any of that stuff. And to be fair, that way we went, we traveled, we explored as far as we could go on that side. And then to the east, we had no idea. It was kind of back to that city, but it was back to, like, it was under a bridge and stuff. So we're like, all right, there's not much there. We couldn't see much. So we're like, all right, well, that was kind of what we were banking on for quite a bit. So what do we do now? And I had bought this inflatable raft at this warehouse store or whatever. And it came with some oars, like 2 oars. And the plan was, let's raft. Let's get in there. Let's paddle. And let's go to Lone Rock or to the other side of the lake where there'll be more stuff to cliff dive and stuff. And that, we were being very optimistic. The distance from here to the other side of the lake, my God, I don't know specifically, but freaking far. Football fields upon football fields. Like, it's like, wait, we're supposed to. I was like, that's not that. I was like, come on. I was trying to be optimistic. I was like, come on, guys. We got our lunch. We blow up finally get this raft inflated because of the pump it came with didn't work. So we're sitting there, we're taking turns, and it is slow work to say the least. So we get those going, and then we get the paddles situated, put it in the water, push out. Everybody hops in, and we have one person on one side with the paddle. I'm on the other, so Matt and I had the paddles at first. All right, let's go. Stroke! And that's when we noticed the paddles they gave you are so short, they don't reach the water. I'm talking, they gave us paddles like this big. So like my hand's here, and it goes down to like here. And that's pretty much the distance from the raft to the water. So I'm already bent over like, I was like, I don't, and with the waves, like with the current, like we hadn't moved. I was like, what? Whose idea? The oars didn't reach the water. And I was like, is this a joke? So, of course, again, when faced with adversity, you got to overcome the challenges. So I was like, all right, oars are useless. We got to paddle ourselves. We got to kick. So, God, one person would stay in the boat to try and steer. We kind of had somebody had a paddle to like dip down if they kind of had to steer or whatever. One person was on one of the sides. It kept switching, alternating, like hanging onto the side, kicking, and then 2 people in the back just like hanging backwards, doing their best butterfly kick. And we kept alternating, people taking turns, getting the break. And seriously, like 30 minutes. Look, okay, all right. How far did we get? How far? And we're barely past the buoys. The rock. It looks like the rock and the other cliff, the other side of the lake, has not moved. And we're like, oh my God, guys, we've made this shit. I was like, we can keep going, but I don't guarantee that we're gonna have the energy to get back. We might die if we don't stop now. So instead, we had to use all of our energy to turn around and go back to the shore. Again, that rafting was supposed to be a big part of our day. We were going to go, it was going to lead us to be able to explore new areas every day. That was not the case, as we very quickly figured out. So we go back to the beach. Everybody's starting to get some snacks and stuff. Obviously, we just worked up way more energy than we should have. And I was like, all right, whatever. Well, let's go for a swim. And I realized we'd just been kicking, but I'd been swimming a lot around that time too. I like to do laps and stuff. So I was the most adept swimmer of us all. And so I was able to just freestyle out to the buoy and back faster than it would have taken us to make half the distance. But I was going with a few friends. I was like, come on, guys, let's do this. And they're like, I don't want to. But we did it anyway. And those guys, again, weren't as adept swimmers. So when we got to the buoy, they are clinging onto the buoy. And they're like, it's like, bro, I don't know if I can get back. And I was honestly worried they might die. They might drown right there. So I was like, come on, guys. So we were swimming back, and I was kind of like trying to like keep tabs on them all. Like, you guys are doing great. And it was a mistake for sure. And we get back to the beachfront. Everyone goes back to camp except me. I kind of stay in the water. Honestly, I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of laying there like near the top and just kind of letting the waves like bring me in and bring me out. Just hearing the water. No, it's just like, this is miserable. I was like, this is nothing like we'd hoped it would be. I look back. Corey put a lawn chair kind of so his feet are in the water. He has a sweatshirt over his face. He's sitting there. He has a box of Frosted Flakes in his stomach. On his stomach, not in his stomach. I hope not. On his stomach, and eyes closed. He can't see. He's sitting there, and he probably did that for about an hour, just like. And I was like, poor guy. He's not enjoying this. I go back. Hayden and Corey. Oh, remember this? I'm finally done. I head back to the camp, and I just hear Hayden yelling like, "That's it! I'm over it! I'm done! I can't do this!" And I'm like, Hayden. I was like, whoa. I said, what's going on wrong? And he's just like, just come here, dude. And we go to the tent. And that little rip I told you about, that little zipper issue on the front, is now the whole thing. It now won't zip close. It's ripped, the entire thing. So, in other words, our tent is just filling up with sand as the wind blows it all. And it's a super windy day, too. Not even that. It was miserable. It's what I imagine a sandstorm was. Just getting berated by small daggers. It's what it felt like. Seriously. Just like everything hurts. It's hot. And at the same time, cold. Now our tent is flooded with sand. Sand literally everywhere. It took me about a year before all the sand left my van. Maybe even a little bit longer than that. Like, I could probably still go find some sand in the van from that excursion. And Hayden, that's it. I'm over it. And Matt was obviously upset as well. And he's like, yeah, dude. And I was like, all right. So it's like, are we headed back already, guys? And I was like, is this it? And we kind of came to consensus. Yeah, we're headed back. So I go down to tell Corey the news. Corey's just sitting there. I think he's dead. I can't see him. I'm like, Corey. We're leaving. Oh, thank God. And he like gets out of the chair, takes his stuff. We start headed back. Like, all right, we're out of here. Now, mind you, this is literally day one. We planned to be there like 7 days. We didn't even make it through the first one. So then the rest of this is a pretty long story. I just realized I can't really condense this because there's so much to it. But anyway, who knows if you made it this far? If so, thank you very much. I just think the story is fun. The experience was awful, but we got a story out of it, and that's what matters, right? So we head back to camp, and now comes the fun part. We now have massive amounts of things to bring back to our van, which is a mile away up that super sandy hill. So as you can imagine, it was awful. So we did our best to we were taking some tarps and tents and trying to fit things in and tie them together, just and just pull them, and we're carrying everything we can. And still, it was 6 or 7 trips. And so it's not only a mile uphill, but it's that super deep, quick sand, obviously, but there's nothing. You sit and you just sink. So it's just the worst trek of your life. And we go once or twice. Everybody behind me, they're halfway up the hill, just sitting on the cooler, pondering every mistake they've ever made in life, namely this one. And I'm like, oh my, morale's at, I was team morale's, I gotta rally the troops. I'm like, come on guys, we got this. Dropping things off. Corey and I are kind of doing it. Hayden and Matt have just given up. They're I'm not doing it. I hate everything. And they're just sitting there I'm not doing it. And I was like, okay. So we're still trying to pick things up, and this guy with this four-wheeler ATV shows up. And I wasn't there for this part. I was halfway up the hill, just hating life. And apparently he came up and he's like, hey, I see you guys making this. You want some help? You want to ride? He's like, I can take one of you guys at a time. And everyone's like, oh, yes, please. So Matt was the first, and he's like, he just hops on with the stuff. He's like, all right, we're going. So he hops on the four-wheeler. And I didn't see this, so I got a second-hand account. Corey and Hayden told me about it. So Matt is just sitting there. He's like barely holding on to anything. And he's just going up the hill, kind of bouncing. And he's just, oh. And apparently, like, a little hill, and like the cooler goes, and Matt goes, and then apparently they hit another one and goes, oh! And then Matt just like goes airborne and then hits the sand with all the stuff. And of course, the cooler hits the thing and just pops open and everything falls everywhere. And of course, Matt's even more upset. At this point, I drop my stuff off of the van. I look at the bottom of the hill. I was like, what am I looking at? And the ATV wheeler comes up. And at this point, it was like Corey or something. It was like, yeah, Matt fell. He's like cleaning everything up. He's like, this guy's going to help move us things. So I was the only one who just still did everything while everyone else took the four-wheeler. I was like, I gotta be a team player here. They're having a bad time. I got to help them out. So we finally get everything into the van. And at this point, sun's almost setting. And I was like, boys, we're going into town for dinner. We went to Denny's, and I'm going to tell you, I probably had the best meal of my life at Denny's that night. It was a godsend. I couldn't even tell you. I've eaten more in that one dinner than I have probably in my entire life combined. I ate so much food, and we looked like homeless people probably coming in, and all the food we shovel it. I have to call my mom, like, Mom, we're coming home. I hear a little laugh, like, wait, what? You guys just got there? And it's like, yeah, listen, you won't believe it. You won't. We're just coming back. We're gonna start tomorrow morning, and we're gonna do the whole thing. And she's like, all right, be careful. Like, is everything all right? I was like, no, but it's okay. So when we're done from Denny's, we have to go back because everything, it was like 9, 10 at night, and we're all exhausted. And there was still a few things left on the beach. Like, we left the tent, and I think that was about it. So we still had to get that. But Corey and I are like, we're not sleeping in that tent. We're not going through that again. And so Matt and Hayden went down. Matt slept in his little mattress, and Hayden slept in his corner again. And Corey and I slept in the van. It's hot and awful, but it was better than the tent, and that's not saying much. And so Matt and Hayden finally come up the next morning. Corey and I get up at like sunrise. I come down, like, you guys ready? They're like, no. I was like, perfect. Because it was like 5:30 in the morning or something. Pack up the tent, get everything in. Everyone comes in. And they just crash. And I'm like, great. Like, I'm exhausted, but I was like, I have 13 hours of driving ahead. Let's get to it. So I did. I drove every last hour of that. Gonna be honest, it wasn't safe. And I should have let somebody else at some point, because it's getting to the point where they're all sleeping and I'm like, ah. I'm literally just like slap. I'm like, come on. We'll roll the window down. So there, I was like, I gotta make it. But at the same time, I can't let them drive it because they're gonna kill us. So it was like a catch-22. I was like, I gotta do it. So we make that whole drive, all 13 hours or whatever. I remember on the way back, originally, Matt, there was something, like some arches or something Matt wanted to see. And Matt's like, oh, we're coming up. Can we see it this time? I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, shoot, dude, there goes the exit. Oh, no. Oh, we can't turn back. Oh, no, darn. I was like, dude, we're going home. Like, I'm over this. Let's get back. And so we drove home. We got back home. And we agreed to never speak of it again. Obviously, that's not true. We still reminisce on it quite frequently because that was the thing, right? It was an awful experience, but I'm never going to forget it. Like, I never want to go back to Lake Powell. And if I do, we're going to be, because, like, here's the thing. I didn't even tell you about our neighbors when we were camping. During the night, we couldn't even get sleep because all you hear is... Each one of these RVs have these huge generators going all night. Not to mention the dudes to the left of us are terraforming the land. They literally have this huge hose connected. They're just pulling the lake water, and they're just hosing down this huge thing of land right next to us. We're kind of getting splashed with water. What's going on? They're terraforming the land so that they can fit all these different things. And they set up this huge Taj Mahal. I don't even know. Literally terraforming their land. And we're over here with a stupid broken tent. And oh my God, I'm glad I went. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I most certainly will not do it again. And that was the worst trip of my life.